What couldn't you believe you had to explain to another adult? Story 1. I had to explain to my mom that my daughter was growing in my uterus and not my stomach. So, the hot sauce on my burrito wasn't going to cause her skin burns. I also explained if she were growing in my stomach would certainly cause way worse burns than hot sauce. It was then that I understood why the school nurse had to explain to me in 5th grade why I kept bleeding through my pants every month at school, and not my mom. Your mother, who, presumably, had some similar experience of being pregnant at some point. Well, sure, but her mom didn't eat hot sauce. And look how smart Opus turned out. There was a US senator who learned about cameras you could swallow to get images of the digestive system for medical analysis. He asked if the same technique could be used for women who might be pregnant, to confirm the situation, as part of a campaign to make abortions illegal. He was told this was not possible, because the stomach does not connect to the vagina. Story 2. We cannot hold period blood in. My God. I had an old boss that would ask me if I couldn't just hold it when I had to run to the bathroom. I'm a bartender. No. One of the reasons a woman would go to the bathroom is it's unholdable. Just last year, I became aware of the number of men that think you can't urinate with a tampon in. They needed an explanation of how many holes a woman has down there. Please, continue making medical choices for me. Oh my God. My partner literally thought this, and I had to explain to him that women cannot, in fact, do kegels so intense we form a vacuum seal on our vaginas to keep our menstrual flow in. Story 3. I hope this isn't too racy for this sub. I had to explain to a grown college-educated adult that, no, canal fax does not cause AIDS. That, no, if both parties are HIV negative, they cannot create AIDS by engaging in this activity. No, Daniel, that's not how viruses work. I was surprised to meet an adult man who told me he didn't wear condoms, because he said he could tell if a girl had STDs by just looking if her vagina was normal. Well, I feel like all those horrific pics of STDs we were shown during fax education kind of backfire. Because I've heard more than one man tell me he thinks that STDs are all visual. And if the vagina looks normal, then she must not have STDs. Edit. I myself am a woman, and I just call the whole thing vagina. But yes, I meant vulva, not vagina. Ugh. I feel like a big part of the problem is that so little time is dedicated to that kind of thing. Think of how consistently we had to have it nailed into us for years and years. How important it was to wash our hands after we use the bathroom, and how some people still don't do it. One semester, if they even have that much, isn't long enough to drive the point home for too many people. My husband swears that in fax education in Alabama in the 90s, they were taught that even if you had fax with the same person your whole life, you could just create STDs from having too much fax. Thank God for college, but it still required running into someone like you, or taking a good biology class. Story 4. Used to work at a daycare. One day a little mouse entered the premises and caused an uproar until we caught and released it in the playground. After the whole ordeal, one of my colleagues, who was the dumbest person I've ever met, said, "Let's hope it didn't lay eggs anywhere." I was too stunned to speak and just stared at her, while my room leader and friend said, in the most done with this shit way, "Mice don't lay eggs," and walked off. Edit. I love how so many people in these replies are trying to find a different interpretation of what she must have meant, or say that she must have been joking. But no, unfortunately, I have to tell you she was 100% of the opinion that mice lay eggs, because she even doubled down about it later. Should have said, "We checked, there weren't any mouse eggs." Or, better yet, "I think I found them all," and show them a handful of jelly beans. Story 5. I talked about this before, and will until the end of days, because this man deserves to be shamed. A 23-year-old man, who had the right to vote, who had a driving license, who had a job, and could get married and start a family, thought people were hanging the moon in the sky. Like, the moon, Earth's natural satellite, was being hung on the sky like A painting on a wall. I'm still reeling over that one. This man had gone to school, had a formal education, and was actually going to college. He learned about that in primary school. And the kicker, I was the one to explain it to him, because I was his girlfriend at the time. And let me tell you, things unraveled real fast when I started paying attention and saw through the smokescreen. Dude was willfully ignorant and bone-dead stupid on top of it. He was really, really good at hiding it. I dropped him like the mess he was and dived into more and more books to compensate the loss of brain matter I suffered from going out with him. Story 6. From a vet tech. 1. That the ticks on a male dog were actually nipples, and that male dogs have nipples, just like every other mammal. 2. That a rabbit that clearly has visible testicles was a male. 3. That you cannot feed an animal that is strictly a carnivore a vegan diet. That thing's so sick when it came in. 4. That, yes, when you have two animals, same species, of opposite genders in the house, and they aren't spayed or neutered, they will breed, even if they're mother or son, brother or sister, different ages, different sizes, different breeds, etc. You'd be shocked at how many people didn't think this would happen. You will like, do you understand biology at all? Story 7. I had to explain to two teenage girls, 15 and 16, that the reason the candle went out was because they put the glass lid back on its jar. One of them said that fire can only be put out with water. I explained that fire needs oxygen, and putting the lid back on it cut the supply. When they didn't understand after explaining a few times, I had to explain it to them like toddlers. Fire is hungry, so it eats the air. When all the air is gone, it goes to sleep. Bye-bye fire. The double O was too much. P.S. The look on their mama's face was so funny. She turned to me, threw her hands up, and said, "I've failed," in the most defeated tone. That poor woman. Edit. I would like to point out that we did, in fact, have a serious talk to these girls about proper fire safety, and when to not use water on an open fire. Story 8. That bocconcini, parmesan, and feta are dairy cheeses. I used to work in a pizzeria and had to explain to this vegan couple on multiple occasions that these cheeses all were made from dairy. It got to the point I had to grab the original containers and read the ingredients on the third try to get it to sink in. Not my encounter, but I'll share it anyway. My friend and her fiancé, who happened to be severely, deathly allergic to dairy, had an initial meeting with their wedding caterer. They stressed that dairy could absolutely not be used at all in anything, and requested to see the recipes for everything she proposed serving. The caterer seemed to understand, and expressed that she was able to accommodate them without any issues. Then my friend received an email with the recipe for the proposed dairy-free cake. Oh boy, it had sour cream in the cake, and cream cheese in the frosting, and maybe something else. I don't recall. Turns out this professionally trained chef thought dairy meant milk only. My friend and her now husband canceled their contract with that catering company because they were certain he was going to die on their wedding day. I think they made the right call.